Hey, we're glad to be here today.
Welcome back
Justin.
to LunchBreak. Grab your coffee, tell a friend, like, share, do what you got to do to have a lunch break with us. We're excited.
Yeah. It doesn't matter where you're at. There again, we're not ashamed, are we? To ask for people to share our link and what we're doing. We're so blessed to be here with Lyle Martin.
Thank you for having me.
I got to ask you a question, Lyle, because your dad was a top cop in Bakersfield, right?
I think he might have been.
So did you ever come up with the thing that you were junior or any of that stuff? Or?
Nah, not too much. I mean, I did get recognized as junior when you're in any of his presence, but yes, nothing too crazy.
He was a great police chief. I loved it.
He was good.
I know he retired.
Very
this year.
dedicated.
So we're here with Lyle today, Lyle Martin, and I'm excited because part of our show, Justin, is really just to find out.
Get to know
people.
We want to dig into people's stories. So we hope you guys who are tuning in to get to know some of the people that we've had the
privilege to know.
Yeah, the privilege to come across in our everyday walks. And
I think that's something that's kind of people take for granted, because I know, Lyle, you come across people every day in your gym, in your soccer life, being a parent, and I think knowing people have a story is what fascinates me. And they have some miles under their tires too, little rubber. So last week, some of our audience asked us, because we had Pastor Ron on. We were blessed to have Pastor Ron on. Got a lot of views from that. Thank you, audience, for tuning in with that. But we talked about spiritual warfare. And I just kind of want to answer the question, because most of them came in the flavor of the ABCs of spiritual warfare. And I think really the first one of that is discernment. Is there a phone going on? That's me. Oh, everybody's looking. I'm looking for the phones on there.
Pastor Ron last week, Pastor Tom. It's always someone.
I didn't want to point him out.
We got to have like a jar. We have to put like.
Yeah, you got to put something in there.
A buck in, J2 jumped like the cat.
Right. Worth it. We're going to have a lunch
have them do some burpees.
I was going to say soda, but you jumped straight to cash. But you got 4 kids, right?
Yes.
You need the cash.
We need that milk money.
So what I tell people about spiritual warfare is, first one is having discernment. I think that's something God gives us, is discernment, to be aware of our circumstances.
Yeah.
And then the next one is, you got to fight spiritual warfare with worship and prayer.
Yes.
It says it's the tools that we have to fight it. I talked about that in James this week. I mean, not James, but Ephesians chapter 6. And the last one is the word. Because that's all Jesus fought the devil with, was when the devil would hang a question mark on God's word, Jesus came back and says, but the word says.
Yeah.
So, guys, I hope that answered your question out there from last week.
Yeah, for anyone out there, for me, I'm a simple person, and when spiritual warfare comes up, I have one rule: it's Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Sometimes my prayer is Jesus. The devil has to flee to that name, and it's the name above all names. And sometimes just understanding and knowing that you have power in that name, and saying, in Jesus' name, whatever's attacking me, my family, be gone through prayer.
Amen.
Recognizing the power of Jesus. And it's simple. I know it's cliche, but it works.
It does.
It works every time. It works every time.
It's the only thing that's ever
crazy.
worked in my life, and I think Justin's life. We've talked about that on the show. So there again, Lyle, tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm going to ask this question this week. Tell us something about yourself that maybe no one else knows.
Oh, man, this is always a tough one. Something that no one else knows.
I found out that Justin played the trombone. I played the violin.
Trombone.
Okay, I did hear that, and I'm going to go off of that. I played the violin as well.
No way.
I did as well, from 4th grade all the way through sophomore year of high school.
Oh, you went a year longer. Now, did you ever get, people ever talk mess to you about playing the violin?
Not at all, because I got there before school started, stashed it away, and then I got it after school, after everybody left.
Wasn't so lucky. I rode the bus, and I had to carry the violin on the bus.
I remember, there's a kid in my school. His name was Tyson, but I knew him as Violin Kid. He took a violin on the bus. That's crazy.
There is nothing wrong with the violin. I wish I would have. I still own my violin.
Well, now playing the violin is cool, but back then, you know what I mean? If I had to ride the bus, I would leave the violin in music class. I wouldn't take it home and practice. No chance. It wasn't happening.
I had to ride the bus to school and back, so I had to haul it around with me.
No chance. I'm not lugging it around.
So bouncing off the violin thing, one of the questions when we got to sit down and go, what do we want to dig into Lyle's life about? I want to know what your childhood was like. What was it like growing up, Lyle Martin? Just let us know. Fill us in.
always outside running around from the time the sun came up until the street lights came on. Outside running around through the neighborhood,
Makes
bikes,
sense.
scooters, skateboards, hockey in the street, football in the front yard, basketball around the corner. Soccer, didn't really touch too much on it when I was younger playing soccer. Believe it or not, yep. You
Yeah,
do a
we'll
little
get
step
into
back
that
a little
later.
bit,
Yeah.
but it was basketball, football, running track in the street. Got to run around the mailbox at 200-meter race. We had relays. We used to play Mario Kart. You ever play Mario
yes,
Kart?
Mario Kart was my thing.
But ours was a little serious. We played on bikes, and we had basketball, soccer balls. You throw them at people. It was a
Wait,
little.
live
It was a little.
Mario? Wait, hang
yes,
on,
yes.
hang on.
This is
I'm
live.
talking about
And
This
you
is
don't get
live.
hospital or anything,
I
right?
mean, there was a couple bumps and bruises, but you got to get up and get back in the game. You don't want to lose the race,
Hang on.
right?
So let's dig into this. How do you play live Mario Kart? This is my
Get on your
youth
bike.
ministry idea. Hang on.
Grab your tool of choice, okay? Grab your tool of choice.
would cover that.
Hunt them down. Hunt them down. That was it right there. It was serious.
That is funny. Oh my gosh. I never knew that was alive.
And you obviously survived that.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Yeah,
I'm
just
good to
a
go.
few bruises. Yeah, I was talking to a friend the other day because we all knew what it was like to grow up in our era. And I remember when we'd get hurt or something, somebody would go rub dirt on it.
Yep, that was
And,
it.
and I go, what happened to the fact that dirt was like the cliche, and it worked because you did it and you got back up and away you went. You know,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
just something.
Carry on.
My kids ask me that stuff, and I tell them that, and they go, "That doesn't make sense to Dad." I go, "Didn't make any sense then. Didn't make any sense now."
Different time.
Is
was a
it broke or
communication.
bleeding? Keep it going. You're good to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that's a good segue for me because also I assumed in asking that question, I assumed that you would say I was running around playing soccer all the time.
No,
Because
no.
part of his story that we wanted to jump into is you became a professional
soccer player.
professional soccer player.
Everybody in our
highest-
neighborhood played basketball or football. So we played basketball or football, and that was it.
So how did soccer come
Yeah,
about?
tell us
What
how-
happened?
Because you played at the highest level.
Yeah, parents gave me a soccer ball or a basketball when I was, I want to say 4 or 5. Gave it to me in the front yard, and I just started kicking it around. My mom's like, "No, that's not how you play with this object here." I kept kicking the ball around, kept kicking the ball. Okay, we're gonna sign you up for soccer. What was it back then? It was it AYSO and
AYSO.
YMCA.
I never got to play
played a little
soccer.
bit.
Yeah.
Horrible.
I was terrible at the beginning
Too
as
tall.
well.
Too
Terrible
tall.
at the beginning as well. Yeah, you want to get Meg. That's when you put the ball through the legs, and I'll get you every time on that one.
Yes.
But yeah, that's how it began in history now. So
So tell us, I mean, people ask me sometimes about bodybuilding. I
Yeah.
fell into bodybuilding. You can't have a bodybuilding career like I did because the bodybuilding didn't exist until Arnold came out with Pumping Iron. I was at Gold's Gym in '76. Pumping Iron came out in '78. So you can't even fall into it. I just fell into it. But
Yeah.
how did you get into it? How did you work up the ranks? High school, college?
So club is a big part of it for a lot of sports now. I think is club ball, despite whether it be baseball, football, track, whatever it is, it's club.
Club sports.
Yes.
Played AYSO for the longest time. Played club. Got cut from my first club team. Yes,
That's
believe it or
a
not.
The
story
Michael
there.
Jordan
Right.
story.
So
huh?
you got to remember that I was crying in the hallway for the longest time. I think probably for a good hour. My mom got the call. Yeah, Lyle didn't make it. for a good hour. No joke. That was probably my first lesson there was my mom said, if you want to keep going, you have to keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, right?
I
My
love
brothers
that.
and I had a shirt. I don't know where it came from. It was BAA. If they're listening, they're going to remember this. It said, believe and achieve. For the longest time, we used to always make that kind of our inside thing all the way up through at least senior year of high school was always BAA, believe and achieve. And
That's real
if you
good,
guys see any of my
actually.
shirts,
I'm
it
writing
says
that
believe
one
on it. But that was something that we did, and something that I tell the high school kids that we work with now. If there's something that you actually want, something that you're striving for, you have to first believe that you're capable of achieving that goal, and then you got to work for it. So
Gotcha.
Lyle, I want to make a plug. There again, part of our mission here is to bring resources to you guys. I love this book called Beyond Boundaries. And one of the chapters I love, it says you understand your own past choices. And you even look, and you have to go back and look at the choices you made, and you made a choice to push through, right?
Right. I love it. Because on top of that, I think when we go back to what you mentioned earlier, prior to us jumping on, and when you mentioned my dad, was watching him put in as much work as he did in law enforcement and working with the community and doing different things to allow him to go through the ranks kind of was instilled in us. How do you say that? Osmosisly? Is that a way we can say it? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I believe that's something that kind of was instilled in us without us actually knowing that it was there. And that was something that it was
Something
a
you
grind.
observed in your household,
Right.
right?
It was a grind. It wasn't easy to play soccer. Like I said, I wasn't the best, and I tell the students today, I was never the best, but my job and my belief was I'm always going to outwork the person on the other side of the ball.
Ooh, that's big.
Right? So even if that comes to
What are
soccer,
the-
the gym, that's what I want to do.
What did that equate to for the young Lyle?
A
More
lot
work?
more tears, but it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. Like I said, trying to recognize how to play the game, understand the game, and then applying that not only to what was going on the field, but also off the field, right? Because on top of that, we still got to do our schoolwork. We still got to be good sons and daughters and students and whatever the case may be.
Good human beings.
Right, right.
Yeah, and then try to achieve it at another level. So as you were doing it, I'm just imagining it took a lot of work, a lot of
Beyond.
skill sets,
Yeah.
a lot of discouragement, and I think that's important for people to know
Yeah.
that we're all going to fail in life, right?
Oh, yeah.
And what is failure? Just another way not to do it, or you've got to find a way around it, right? I mean, I always talk to my daughters and people around me. It's okay to have that because it's another way to learn something, right?
Right. I love it. My son just started playing soccer.
Yeah.
Our daughter
neat.
does competitive dance, and when they're not doing as well as they want to, that's where that failure comes in, and it's just a quick conversation. How bad do you want it?
Yeah.
You can continue on, and you're going to get better. You might not be the best right now, but you're going to improve. I promise you,
Yeah.
you're going to improve. I don't care what it is that you do. If you're putting the time and effort in, you're going to improve no matter what. You might not be where you want to be right now. The people that you're watching on TV or your
Yes.
neighbor or the person that's next to your other teammate, but the more you put the work in, you're going to improve. You're going to get better.
Be realistic, right? I always tell my girls who had a lot of success in athletics, and they would come home, and my oldest daughter would say, "Dad, I just think this is pressure." I go, "There's something I learned early on is pressure is privilege, because it's causing you to move to the next level."
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, because you are going to make that decision, you know, where we're at there. I was talking about Josh Vietti, and last night he played a video at church. I would encourage
good.
all you guys to go out and watch it. It's called The Fork in the Road, meaning that we all arrive at a fork in the road, and sometimes it's a choice, and they're not obvious, but they're not either both bad either.
Right.
That's like there's an
Right.
evil choice or a good choice, not like the little, you know, angel and devil are talking on your
Yeah,
shoulder.
yeah.
It's like you have to make the choice. Did you end up with forks in the road?
Several. So, again, giving as much credit to my mom as humanly possible. There was 3 times that I can remember in my life that I almost quit soccer because it was getting too hard. It was too difficult. But just like you said, that was that failure line there, and that was taking me to the next level. I kept hitting the wall, right? We keep hitting the wall no matter what it is in our life, but if we fight through it,
Yes.
now all of a sudden there's a whole new world that opens up. 3 different occasions I truly remember. Are you going to quit or are you going to continue on? If you continue on, you're going to elevate. 3 times I've done that. And each time I was like, oh, okay, I'm getting that much better. Okay, now hit another wall. Okay, now I'm getting better. And then that's what takes me through high school. Again, not the best, but I kept working at it. And then made a decision to go play at CSUB.
I love
and that was super tough, super difficult.
Were they
Didn't start,
Division
didn't play
I
off.
back there?
They were Division II, and
I
we were
gotcha.
transitioning my senior year.
'Cause there was a lot of
senior year, we
pressure
were
on the
going-
coach.
Yeah, right.
He
So
put
there
out
was
a
so
great
much.
team.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So there was so much going on through all of that, just trying to navigate it on a personal level because my parents didn't play soccer, right? So they didn't. There's not a way that they can teach me everything. And then YouTube wasn't as big as it is now, so I
Yeah.
couldn't jump on and watch something. Social media, I don't even think it existed
It
at that
wasn't a
time, right?
thing.
There
It
might be
wasn't.
what is that, AOL
like it.
Messenger maybe?
Yeah.
But there wasn't anybody I can reach out to and talk to as far as saying, how do I get to that next step? How do I? And it was just keep going,
Yeah.
just keep practicing, keep
Yeah,
training.
you know, and I think that is something that people have to realize is that as you have obstacles in your way,
Yeah.
you have to make a choice. And, you know, every one of us are faced with choices all the time. I think men are faced with choices, women are faced with choices, that we just have to make that decision.
I think that
What are the- you have to think what the
giving
options
up
are.
is a choice.
It is.
And,
Yeah.
That's the choice that you didn't make, and that's the choice that a lot of us men, we have to decide, no matter how hard it gets, not to give up and still push forward and chase after whatever it is that God has put on your heart for you to pursue.
Because it's easy to give up.
It's
Well,
it's the easy
I
choice.
get there. You know, I came to a point, and I tell people a lot when I made the decision to retire from professional bodybuilding. You know, I remember it because the decision I made, I did it for a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Started when I was 17, finished when I was 27. And then people said, you retired at 27. I go, I was done because I had a fork in the road. What I was doing was fine, but I couldn't continue to do it. So I actually then made a jump into
That
my
next chapter there.
academia,
Which is a big,
which was
yes.
in the corporate world. So I mean, sometimes you have to realize it's not, there's seasons in life.
Yeah.
And so those are the seasons.
And that's
in
what I
life.
like. What Lyle has done with this is he's taken that mentality, and now you've spread it out into so many different opportunities. So the way I met this man is he came to the church. He was Pastor Jim knew him.
Yeah, I remember that.
We were starting. He wanted to start Mighty Kicks here, which was a program which we had a lot of kids go to. It was so fun, and just brought some professional players down, some CSUB players down, and the kids got to play soccer like elementary kids. It's the cutest thing you've probably ever seen in your life, like a little kindergartner kicking a soccer ball into the net. I'm
More
telling
like
you,
tripping over the soccer ball. But
yeah, tripping with style. But I remember the first time meeting him because I'm like, oh, this dude's a pro soccer player. I'm gonna go out. I played soccer at AISO. I've been good at sports. Let me go out there and play with these guys. This dude made me look like a child, just flipping it over my head, just ridiculous. So that's when you see that there's a different level to this, for one. But the kids, if I'm in awe, imagine what the kids were like. And he was spreading that hope and just pushing that willingness to achieve onto the kids. And he did that with Mighty Kicks. He now does it. You do it with your gym as well, right? I want to get into that.
Well,
a little bit.
don't jump too quick on the Mighty Kicks. What gave you the idea about doing a Mighty Kicks? Because obviously you moved from a
Got a great answer
competitive
for you.
career,
Yeah.
but then you took the skill and you brought it into
To
kids.
a
I mean,
ministry.
I think all of us in life come to those points where it's like, I may not be the doer anymore, but I can help others achieve
Yeah.
or do. I think that's in church too, helping other people grow in their faith.
Yeah. So if you guys don't mind, I'll take a step back. Okay. If you
Yeah.
don't, I'm going to go on a little soliloquy here.
Go
Okay.
for it.
So the fork in the road. Okay. Let's go back to that. We had a fork in the road, and let's go back to choices. This is crazy how it's just going to boom line up, right?
Come on.
So being a professional athlete comes with certain situations as men that we're going to run into, right? Fair enough to say? Yes? Okay. We know that. My wife and I were having issues when I went and played professional. So I traveled the world. I'll without plugging it and saying it the way I want to, but traveled in Canada, played in China, Thailand, all of that nature there, right? So I've been around playing. We were having some issues and complications. So we text Pastor Ron, sent out the message to him, and he said, okay, when you get back in town, let's have a chat. Okay, so it was a choice to say, okay, we're having a situation here. How can we work it out? How can we pray on it? How can we fix
I
it?
did
saying-
not
right?
know this.
saying
This is
help.
good.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
saying I need your
recognizing
help.
I need help, and you reached out for help.
Right. Now, again, my wife being the strong woman she is, she's telling me, okay, this is what we need to do, blah, 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 right? So we get that going there. We have a break in between season. I fly back, send a message to Pastor Ron. He's on stage that day. He says, afterwards, let's talk in the back. Afterwards, he talks in the back, brings me up. Okay, what's going on in this situation? We explain everything without putting all the information out there, right? So we go over everything, and he says, okay, this is your talent. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. What if God is trying to use your talents for something else, for something greater, right? So now inside, I'm thinking,
No.
get out of here. No, you said we want to talk to Pastor Ron? No, we're not talking to Pastor Ron. Let's get out of here. But inside, I'm thinking all of this craziness, and outside, I'm trying to stay strong and keep a stern face. And no, I'm a professional athlete. I'm going to
Yeah, that's what I
die
do.
as a professional
This is what I
athlete.
do.
I'm going to
This
do
is
this
who I
forever.
am.
No, and you can't last that long. Come on, let's just be honest, right? So we get that situated. We talk about it. He prays over us. We do different things. I then end up, I think, where was I? I was coming back from China or going back for another season. And then again, wife calls me up, messages me, okay, what did you think about? What did you pray on? What are you hearing? No joke, that night, I have a dream, comes to me and says, you're almost there.
Oh, wow.
Clear
I love
as
that.
day, like, you know when you have a dream
I
and
know.
you
Yeah.
kind of fogly, vaguely remember things?
But it doesn't leave your
You're
mind.
almost there, right? And this is when I had that dream when I was in San Antonio.
Okay.
So I wake up the next day. There's a guy, there was two different guys on my team. We did a Bible study together, and I said, look, guys, I had this dream. Something came to me and said, I'm almost there. Like, I'm almost getting emotional thinking about it now. I'm trying to figure out, okay, what it is. We're having these situations. We're trying to get stuff worked out. We just had our first child. We have a daughter. They're in California. I'm in Texas. Pastor Ron said this for that. I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to figure this out? I finish playing. I retire. And then we start Mighty Kicks. Something just hit me. Another guy from another team said, Lyle, how about you start doing this over here? I've been working with these psychologists and different things that we can incorporate character development inside of the sport. Okay, let's partner up. Let's figure out how we can get this going. That's how Mighty Kicks came about. Bring it to Bakersfield, and then it just have you ever been in a space, it's dark, it's glooming, but you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? You can vaguely see it. So it's a light off in the distance, you can see it. And as soon as I committed to saying, I'm gonna go to church more, I'm gonna start serving, I'm gonna start just giving myself, stop trying to make my own plans and listen to the plans that he has for me, all of a sudden, just floodgates, right? Like you said, there were so many kids. Like, I didn't think that many kids would come out. I'm thinking, okay, maybe we'll have a dozen or so.
Up and I remember me and him thinking, I hope they sign up.
Yeah, right?
We were looking like pale face. And then they just started coming in. And
they were just flooding in. And this is when we got with
Crazy.
Pastor Jim. And Pastor Jim got me in with Pastor Ron and sat down with Justin and got stuff going with Pastor Al. And it just started
such a cool time
going, and that's how it's been the last, what is this,
I love that.
almost 6-7 years now.
I don't even know. Crazy.
Isn't that crazy? I love that story. So then, as the fascinating thing for me is hearing your story, but then you started a gym too.
Yeah, so Wifey did that. So I have to give credit to Wifey. So for the longest
her
time,
name?
Katie,
Katie.
hey, beautiful. I see you watching.
Yeah, there you go.
So she was working at a big name gym here, right?
Big box.
She was big box. That's how we say it. Big box gym here, and she was trying to figure out what she wanted to do. We both met at CSUB in kinesiology program. She got her degree there, started working and whatnot, and she wanted more. So in the beginning, we always try to figure out how to get there and whatnot. She wanted more. I was like, started pushing her. Well, why don't you start doing your own thing? So we started training out of the garage. And do a little bit more. She went to the park, started growing, praying on it, doing different things. And I think Pastor Ron kept mentioning we need to do something fitness-wise at the gym, and it just set in the back. Kept pushing, going forward, and then she partnered with somebody, and she opened up a facility, right? So I'm just there. Hey, whatever you need, I'm here for you. We can work this out. Didn't work out too well. They split. And then this is when Motivate starts.
I love the name Motivate.
Yeah.
She was like, I want you to be a part of this. I want you to help and figure everything out for us on the back end, and I'll be the front. And like I was telling Justin in the beginning, she doesn't like to be out there and doing all that. She just wants to train and get people's nutrition together and help. Right? So we got that going, and Motivate starts. And again, that started off slow. We had 25, 30 people, and then 50 people, and then 75 people. And one of the wonderful people over there that put all of this loveliness together asked, how did it come about, or what the gym is about? And it's about community. It's about how can we serve? How can we help people?
Cohen.
Yes.
There it is. So Cohen brought it out. So we want to see how we can serve.
Because if you see his gym, you see people, it's not even him posting it. You'll see people from his gym. Yeah. And it's always a group of smiling faces in the gym, like a large group. And like I'm that person that's like, I'm not trying to work out right now. But then you see them, they go, oh, this might be fun. Right? Like, I see what they're doing over there. I'm still not going. But it's great what you're doing. It's awesome. But I wanted to plug my book. The book me and Pastor Tom talked about getting resources to you guys about the things that we watch. And this one is books that we read, programs we watch, videos we use, and this one, not a fan. This one affected me, and I literally thought, as you were talking even about the Mighty Kicks, when Pastor Ron told you, like, you need to, maybe your purpose is to do this.
Because no athlete wants to hear that.
No,
you
not
don't
at all.
want to give up.
Because what you're hearing is, you're washed up.
Yeah.
You're old.
Yeah.
You're a has-been.
All of that.
When I did, I was 27.
All of that.
I was like,
all of that.
Got life, but that's what goes through our head, right?
All of that.
Exactly. And this one is about getting in the game. And from what I'm hearing, even from your story, I go, you're having the Bible studies, you're doing this, but you were a professional soccer player. Yeah. You weren't a devoted follower of Christ.
Not at all.
Where he was going.
Not at all.
And then you jump in and you're no longer a fan. And that's what it's about. It's about not being a fan. Fans are there to admire the work of Jesus Christ. But when you're a follower, you are participating in the work of Jesus Christ. And that's what you do now. Isn't that crazy? Love it. This book, check it out.
I think all of us, and we can probably talk about this, when you have that decision to make, because I don't know about you, Pastor Ron will say, there's Tom, he used to be Mr. California. I'm like, that's a lot of years ago. We're talking 1985. And there was a lot of other bigger titles than that. But pretty soon, that's who you are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're Lyle, the soccer player.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're Justin Greer, the basketball player.
It's going to always be with you.
But I don't think you have to stay there.
Right.
I think that's what's so exciting about opportunities. And there, as believers, we have the Lord that is prompting us on. I love to hear the fact that you and your wife were real, because marriage is not easy.
Right.
I don't say marriage is hard, because that's a different description of it, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
I love the fact that, Lyle, and men, if you're out there listening to this, sometimes as your wife had you you reached out to pastor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you got to reach out for help. It's one thing to know, because I knew I screwed up. I'd say it all the time. Before I knew the Lord, I knew I screwed up. I just didn't know how to get unscrewed up.
Right. Right.
So, I just didn't have people to around me to talk to me about that. I love other people around me, but not about that. But I realized that Christ could help put the pieces back together from me.
Yeah.
I felt that was a big step for me. So you reached out, you got help, you heard something you didn't want to hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you accepted it. I think that is so important. No one likes, the Bible says that God will discipline us. No one likes that word.
Yeah.
The Bible says that trials will give us endurance. I'm about you guys. This body was not made to have endurance. I mean, they asked me what we used to do for cardio, and I go, what do you mean cardio? I go,
what is that?
If you wanted to run, you had to run someplace. If you wanted to ride a bike, you had to ride a bike someplace. That's when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. And I was doing that stuff. So I used my workout to do that. So
if you guys are just tuning in, I want to make sure there's some viewers that are just tuning in. We have
Lyle
Martin
Martin
here, and we've been going over his ex-professional soccer career. We've been going over how
he's violin, played the violin.
Hey, let's just leave that
guy. And then, just moving forward and talking about how God has transformed this man's life as well. I want to jump to a part of your life that I saw transform before my eyes. You got on, all of a sudden, you got on social media, and I told you I can't wait to get to this part. I want to know what happened.
I'm interested
because he gets on he wasn't even active on social media like that at all. And then I started looking one day, and he posts a little motivational video, just a little selfie, like your average selfie. Then you see, I check a week later, and he's got a little logo. He's got he's just changing scenery, and he's you can see he's improving. I'm like, this is cool. He's consistent.
Messing around with some apps.
I didn't look for a while. I stopped scrolling social media.
I see how it is.
I wasn't looking at anyone at this point.
Just pass by, but go ahead.
But I was scrolling. I jumped back in, and thousands of followers later.
Full-on motivational speaker.
Wow,
how do you do that?
What happened? But it's he says such good stuff in a small snippet, and it's so good. And looking back, I go, I see why it happened. But what was the motivation behind it? What God told you to do? What happened?
Right. So
motivate.
When you're playing pro sports and doing different things, you can see how active everybody is on social media. Goes back to what you were saying. I didn't want to just be known as a professional athlete. So when social media was getting big, which was around my 8. So right when the iPhone was, I think it was second or third iPhone generation. I'm getting ahead, not over there. Yeah, you're right. Instagram started getting big. Everybody's switching from MySpace to Facebook. I used to try to avoid it. Here she goes. She might dug down to her red on this one. So I was trying to chat with my wife on MySpace, and that's how I was getting in with her as far as, hey, I'm interested, Yeah, I was like, hey, how you doing? Saw you at school today, what's going on? Can we meet later? But anyway, so everything that I wanted to do, or everything that I tried to do, I try to take a step back and wish I had that person that was there for me. So what I mean by that is I wish I was getting certain words that we were talking about earlier, right? So those words of affirmation there, a little bit of guidance. So just like you said, one day I said, I'll shoot a video.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen? People won't like it. I'll get a thumbs down or whatever the case may be, right? So I just put it out there, and I got one or two.
Good response.
1 or 2 people check that out. Okay, cool. I did another one. All right, let's keep it going. Started posting it, and people started DMing me. So I get a lot more DMs than hearts or thumbs up or direct
for
message
old guys like
versus comments or things of that nature there. So people were, hey, you know what? I love to hear that word today. It just hit me at the right time. I was like, oh, okay. That's something that Pastor Ron does to us all the time. When he's on stage and you're sitting there and then, boom, immediately hits you with something that you needed at that moment. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just keep it going. And for the longest time, I would say probably a good 8 to 9 months, I went every day posting a short one. So probably 15, 20 seconds. And then I started getting a little bit better, feeling a little bit more comfortable, 30, 45 seconds. But what I noticed was that consistency and persistence to try to better myself and better the message that those are viewing or hearing, however you want to say that, was receiving. It just allowed me to kind of snowball effect over that, right? So it's the persistence to pursuing God and chasing God and wanting to get better. And like you said, I just dove in with everything. Same with when I got back into church, just dove in. Pastor Al, tell me where you need me. Pastor Al would message me. Lyle, I need you over here.
Yeah.
I would drop
He'll
everything
put-
that I'm
he'll
doing
put you
and going,
somewhere.
right?
Yes,
You guys
Al
know
would.
Pastor Al. So as soon as he texts me, boom, I'm there.
Yeah.
No matter what I'm doing, I got to drop this, I got to go.
Yeah.
And just things just started accumulating that way. And then
something
it just
even
got
comes
more
out
followers.
about the way you think, though, because this is what I think people need to hear. Because you said you posted your first one, and you're like 1 or 2 people liked, and you said that with an encouraging
Yes.
tone in your voice.
Not like,
See,
oh,
some
just
people
one
look
or
at it,
two.
oh, 1 or 2 people liked it, and there's 2 different ways to look at it. And you go, 1 or 2 people have been affected by
Yes.
my
Right.
words, and then you
Encourage.
keep going, and you stay consistent. And now look how many people you're affecting. But it's because the mindset has been drilled in you
Well,
since your mom taught
Yeah,
you
yeah.
to not give up.
Yeah.
And it comes out, and that's why you made it. And so,
Yeah, you know,
that's crazy.
I'll go back to this, and I hope I can use a Disney character. I remember Thumper's mom says, "If you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything
Right.
at all." You ever see
Uh-huh,
that movie?
uh-huh, yep, yep.
It's called Bambi.
Uh-huh.
So I always remember that. That was inspiration for me, and I remember watching that movie and going, "Well, I should say good things." And I wasn't I was a heathen kid.
Yeah.
So what I heard you say was, I wanted to put something positive in somebody's life, because in this day and age, there's too much negative out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so people really respond to that, because words of affirmation are incredible, because we also know that words of discouragement can hurt. The Bible says that there's power of life and death in our words. So we have to be careful on what we say it or how we say it, because when they say, you know, sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Right.
Especially being around kids, you know, because you're coaching now too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coaching over
So-
at Stockdale.
Yeah. So as we're there, I love that motivate. I love that you bring a positive attitude to it, and then you help others with the same attitude that you bring to the game, the plate. And I think that's life, though. What do they say? What is that saying they say about attitude? It's like, you know, own your own attitude. Don't let somebody
Right.
make that decision
Right.
for you. You know, because there's too many people out there willing to criticize. You know, because like you said, you get 1 or 2 likes, people are like, oh.
Yeah.
But you're saying, no, that's a good thing. And I think, you know, as people go through this life, that there is going to be discouragement, but even to the fact that you didn't let that get you down. So
Yeah, I
love
think
that.
that's a big part
I
of
love
your
that.
story. So for one, you guys watching, Motivate is his gym. If he's motivating
Yeah.
you guys in just being here today, you can
If-
go and get that at his
if-
gym, you
if
guys.
you're
Please check it out.
If you're looking for a place to exercise or to get more fit and to be motivated, I'd definitely consider your gym.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're trying to bring to this audience too, is resources that they can put in their life.
Mm-hmm.
People come to me all the time and they say, Tom, could you write a workout and a diet? And I go, well, that's the easy part.
Right? Yeah.
Well, you do
I
it.
do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
I do that in my
Are
sleep.
you gonna
So you write
actually
it
go
down.
do
I go, that's the easy part. The doing it's the hard
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
That's
You know,
funny.
so sometimes it's just getting to that point where you're willing to open up, because you got your wife, like you said, is the behind the scenes person, and then you're the in front of that. And I love that part of marriage too. Do you see that translate into your raising your kids?
Oh,
Because how many
absolutely.
children do you have?
Two.
Two. And they're different personalities, right?
Oh, yes. I should say yes and no, but yes. A daughter who is 8, she just turned 8, what is that, 2 weeks ago, and a son who is 5.
I love
And
that.
they are energetic, so we're a constant go.
Yes.
And then trying to lay all that out with everything that we got going on is always a constant juggle, as you guys know, but it works itself
Yeah, I love.
out.
We have a Zoom meeting just to talk to each other a little bit before we get on the show. He zooms in, getting to his practice of his daughter.
Yep,
right?
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So she's getting out of her car seat in the back, and I'm like, yep, that's the life. It's the only time he can meet.
And you got 4.
And I've got 4. So my wife was in there with all 4, which is to get 30 minutes of that, it's tough.
Oh,
Like, so
yeah.
as soon as I hang
Somebody's
up the
banging
Zoom,
on
I
the
run out
doors,
there. All right,
screaming
which,
through
which
it.
kid's on top of the counter? Which kid? It's hilarious, the lifestyle, man.
But I think that's it is. So there again, Lyle, you have anything else you'd like to share with the audience before we sign off? I mean, you know,
What's in store for the future before we close? What's in the future? What do you got? Where do you see yourself going? What do you plan on doing?
I have many goals and aspirations and anything that you want to say tailored in that area that we want to do and achieve. But for me, it's just constantly continuing to improve myself so that I can continue to better those in the community, if that makes sense there. I just want to be able to be of help. I'm going to be 36 in 2 weeks. I've been to 5 different countries, countless cities, and I don't say that to brag or boast. I say that because that is a blessing, and I say it at the same time as it was an opportunity for me to take the gifts that God gave me to touch different people around the globe, right? So social media allows me to continue to do that. And for some reason, I wrote down Isaiah 30:21. So my son's middle name is Isaiah. My daughter's middle name is Faith, right? So in the beginning, I was trying to find my faith, right? Refind it, I should say, when we were having our daughter. And then when I was trying to figure out, okay, how do I navigate the world of being a dad, of being a husband, a follower, a believer, a part of this community, this is one of the verses that came to me.
Life
was
verse.
right. So whether you look to the left or the right, you will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, now walk in it." So just staying open and trying to stay active in the Word. Thank you, Pastor Jim, always checking in with me. But staying active in the Word and allowing yourself to be the vessel, be the tool for God allows so many doors to open up, and the things that you thought you wanted and were capable of achieving, God is going to 10x, 100x that if you allow Him to use you.
I love that. I love quotes and I love life verses. So is that your life verse, or is there another one you have?
That's my life verse right there. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
All right, well, it was great having you on. Wonderful story. I even learned
appreciate
some
you
things
having
that
me.
I didn't know.
I
so-
did too.
so
That's why I love
cool.
doing this with you, Justin.
Yeah.
I love Lyle. I love getting to meet you and getting to know you. And
Let's thank the team too. 'cause I
let's
don't
thank our
forget
team.
the for being
We
here.
have our operational consultant. That's Tessa Touchstone.
Yes.
We have Vince Sierra, who's our creative director. Then we have Seth Parker, who's our producer.
Yep.
And we have Cohen Miller, who's our sound engineer. We can't do this without you guys.
Can't do it without them.
You
So
know? And I think that's something important to know.
yeah.
You know,
Well, we don't know how to make these cameras work.
Right? That's what I
We
said when I
really
walked in.
don't.
We got a lot of stuff going on
that
here.
light, I tried to turn it on earlier. It didn't work. So we need them. Trust me.
Yeah, we do.
Very smart men. So I appreciate them, and women with Tessa. So she's learning the marketing, and so
Yeah.
we appreciate everyone. Thank you guys
Yeah,
for
thank you
watching.
guys for
Share
watching
with
it.
someone. Share with someone. Follow Lyle. He's
Yes,
at Lyle
follow
Martin.
him.
Yep, Lyle Martin Jr.
And if you have a question for us this week, you know, it's Pastor Tom at vbf.org.
jgreer@vbf.org, and you can hit him up on Instagram if you want to know
What'd
some
be the
more
best
questions.
way to get a hold of you?
Any social platform you use, Lyle Martin Jr., you'll find me on there.
I like it.
Send me a DM. I'll get back to you. I promise you. I'll try my best to get back to
For
you.
sure.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks.
guys for watching. See you next time.
Take care. Right on.